Welcome to We're Talking Bears, the show where uncle, nephew, and son bring you the latest in the Chicago Bears experience. Hey, here we are, draft night, round one. We're out here, and we got a long wait because the Bears have done it. 3 years ago, we had the first round pick. We traded that pick. We got DJ Moore, Darnell Wright, uh, and a host of players out of that pick. Guess what? Next year, we ended up with the number one and the number nine. Who do we grab? Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze. Last year, we ended up with the number 10 overall. We grabbed Colston Loveland. We have stocked up on talent. And guess what that means? That means we're better. Not only are we better, but we were good enough to win the NFC North and to beat the pack in the cold winter of the playoffs. Hey, that gives us the reward of picking 25th overall. That's going to be a long wait for us, but we can see what the lesser teams do. Teams that, let's tell the truth, failed and were in rebuilding the way we were in. First off the bat, of course, the Raiders picked Fernando Mendoza, quarterback out of Indiana, who was perfect, won the national championship, won the Big Ten, won everything he touched. I don't think that just because the Raiders have a quarterback who won everything, that means that they're going to win everything. It's just not the way football works. As we well know, it's taken us a long time to turn the franchise around, and we absolutely, positively have to come right now and improve. This is our year. Everybody's looking to knock us off of our standard. We were the team to beat in the NFC and North, and we were obviously, without question, battling down in the top 8 teams in the league to decide who was going to be champion. And we were there. We weren't a joke. We were right there with, absolutely with the other teams. So, hey, this is an important draft. It's an important time. It's an important night. Let's remember that even though they picked the Raiders, picked Fernando Mendoza, that they had already went out and purchased a quarterback on the open market. So they may not be starting Fernando Mendoza. They purchased Kirk Cousins, who is an extremely well looked at veteran. So we'll see what happens. But even if they start Mendoza, he's got an incredible guy to work behind and learn from. So let's see what's going on now. After that, David Bailey was picked up by the Jets. David Bailey's an edge out of Texas Tech. The Jets couldn't stop anything last year. They had just a hard time playing football. And how? They decided that they're going to use one of their first round picks on an edge, which is very smart. Top ranked edges oftentimes make an enormous difference and have an enormous career. Good luck to them. After that, we move on down to Jeremiah Love being picked by the Cardinals. He's out of Notre Dame, running back, and he was a junior. So it's a battle. People are taking skill positions. We've got 2 skill positions off the board, Fernando Mendoza and Jeremiah Love. We got 1 defensive position, the edge from David Bailey, which is as much as an offensive line can be a skill position, it is also. So let's keep an eye on what's going on, and let's have some fun here with the We're Talking Bears live podcast of the NFL draft. We're going to keep you connected and let you know what's up. So there we go. We're going to keep you connected. All right. On the clock right now, the Tennessee Titans. They've got a lot of needs, and we'll see what they're going to do. All right, folks. Titans are on the clock. And the Titans have made their pick. So the pick is in for the Titans. We are waiting to find out exactly who that is. Titans have made their pick. The pick is in for the Titans, and we are waiting to find out who they have picked. No answer yet, folks. No answer yet. The Titans have picked Carnell Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State. Again, we are going for skill positions. We got Mendoza, Love, and Carnell Tate. So we've got a quarterback, running back, and wide receiver as three of the top four. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver as three of the top four. And that's two out of the top four in the Big Ten, which is no surprise. The Big Ten showed out last year, winning it all, but also just being active and having in the football playoffs, the college football playoffs, having many teams represented in the college football playoffs. Um, so I'm not surprised to see Big Ten players truly active in this draft. Giants are on the clock. Giants have a host of needs. As you well know, there were a lot of teams that had really poor records, less than 5 wins. It was a battle for the basement. Giants are on the clock. After that, the Browns, and then the Commanders. Um, then, amazingly, the Kansas City Chiefs are picking at 10. They haven't picked this high in since they picked Mahomes. Yeah, I think they picked Mahomes at number 10, and they haven't had the occasion to pick this high. Number 10 uh, um, is where they pick Mahomes. They'll be picking at number 9, so they haven't had a season that ended that poorly in 7, 8 years since Oh my gosh. Yeah. So you're talking um, 16. That's 10 years. Amazing. 2016 when Trubisky and Mahomes came out. Um, it's a long, long time ago. So now the Giants are on the clock at 5. Their pick is in, but they will be back to pick again at 10. They are one of two teams that have two picks. The Jets, who picked at 2, will be able to come back and pick at 16. Hey, when you're losing and you got problems, you usually end up with a lot of draft picks. If you're losing and you have problems and you don't have any draft picks, your management has made some huge errors. We've also seen that back in the Ryan Pace days where we would not have the quality of draft picks and we would not have victories. So we were trading away great draft picks. That's a big mistake. That's how you tank a franchise. Well, we're not tanked anymore. We're doing well. And the Giants pick is in. We'll know in a moment who the Giants have picked. Again, taking you back through it, Fernando Mendoza, absolutely no doubt that he was going to be the number one overall pick. Just a phenomenal quarterback, threw 41 touchdowns, won the college national championship, won the Big Ten, didn't lose a single game his senior year. I mean, that's his junior year. Was his junior year. Didn't lose a single game. Absolutely fantastic. I believe he was a redshirt freshman, so it would be quote unquote his 4th year. Bottom line, incredible player, David Bailey, tough edge out of Texas Tech, right there as number 2. The Jets need help on defense. They got to do something, but the Jets need a quarterback too. So I don't know what they're going to do. Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame, went to the Cardinals. And to round out those additional skill positions, Carnell Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State, went to the Titans. And we know those Ohio State wide receivers have been getting it done out there. So that's probably a good choice based on the school's pedigree and the individual. Nonetheless, it's really tough to get out of the basement. As we, as Bears fans, know, we sat in the basement for years. And it's good to be in the penthouse again, looking down on the Packers, looking down on the Lions, looking down on the Vikings. Hey, this year we got to do it again, though. The work starts over. We have a different roster. There's been some changes on the coaching staff because, of course, when you do a good job, people come. And we've made some changes on the roster out of necessity. And here we're going to find out how it goes. The Browns are on the clock right now, and momentarily the Giants pick will be announced. The Browns are doing their work. They've got some work. They picked 2 quarterbacks last year. Let's see which direction they go. They traded Bush to us to play linebacker. Perhaps they have their eye on a linebacker. Let's see. Or we actually grabbed him in free agency, not a trade. My mistake. So let's see where. Oh, and it looks like there's been a trade. The Chiefs have traded up to 6, taking the Browns a number 6 pick and moving the Browns back to 9. The Chiefs are now at 6. And let's see what the Chiefs do. Andy Reid and his people have decided it's worthwhile to move up 3 spots. So we will absolutely figure out what and why they moved up. So let's take a look at it. All right. The Chiefs are going to let us know what they did. It's absolutely, positively. I'm excited. Let's see what happens. That's the first trade of the night, and I'm sure it will not be the only trade of the draft, but it's definitely the first trade of the night. Uh, all right. All right, so we know what the New York Giants have done. They chose an edge. Arvell Reese out of Ohio State. Again, hey, that Ohio State team was tough. They went a long way. They couldn't beat that Indiana team, but they were tough and they beat a lot of good teams, which is why back to back Ohio State players have just been drafted at 4 and 5. So, number 4, Carnell Tate, wide receiver. Number 5, Arvell Reese, edge. Both of them juniors at Ohio State. So Ohio State's going to have to revamp. All right. So that's where we stand. Boom. So we'll find out. The Chiefs are in. They are no longer on the clock at 7. The Commanders are on the clock. The Chiefs are, their choice is in, but we do not know what their choice is yet. So I am not at all surprised that, that we have a quarterback, 2 edges, a running back, and a wide receiver going. As far as the Bears are concerned, my recommendation, my humble recommendation to the brain trust that we have, that I trust in, is that we perhaps take a trade back if someone wants that 25 pick, move back into the early second round, pick up a little bit more capital, and use that to take what should be the first center off the board. I am happy that we replaced Dahlman, who of course retired early after being selected as a Pro Bowler again. Um, but we did replace him with the former Patriots center, but that Patriots offensive line was suspect. They had a very difficult time in the playoffs. They were good enough to get the team to the playoffs, but they were probably the worst offensive line in the playoffs, in the NFL playoffs. So I'm thinking we need to take a center, create some competition at that, and possibly get the best center off the board while also grabbing a little extra draft capital. Maybe we can get a fourth round pick to go with that second if we trade out of the first round. I wouldn't be upset with that. I also wouldn't be upset with staying and grabbing a center. Just kind of what I predicted. The edges are going like mad. So we're only at pick 5, and 2 edges are off the board already. So, as far as the Bears getting an edge with that uh, 25th overall pick, we could, but it looks like it would be a huge stretch. You got to assume 1 or 2 more edges go between now and that 25. If you're getting the fifth choice at that position and burning a first rounder on it, you got to say, I don't know. I would much rather be get my choice of a position like center, or something, or maybe a second or third choice at defensive tackle. Maybe they've got their eyes on a defensive back that they just think is worth a first round pick, and we may be able to get someone like a safety, maybe the first or the second safety off the board. It's very possible at that 25. Right now, we're waiting on the Commanders who are choosing, and we're waiting to find out the results of what the Chiefs actually chose. So here we are. We're talking Bears, and right now we're talking the NFL draft. So let's wait and see what the Chiefs are doing. Hopefully, my buddy is happy. He got a good friend out in Kansas City, probably eating some good old barbecue and waiting to see what his Chiefs do to try to resurrect that team, and see what do they put next to, guess who? Justin Fields. Because unless Patrick Mahomes makes a complete recovery, Justin's probably starting the season, and Mahomes is probably coming in sometime in late September, early October. So let's see what they do. Don't know yet, but the pick is in for the Chiefs, and they have picked a cornerback, Mansour Delane. Mansour Delane out of LSU. He was a senior cornerback. I am not surprised, as I'm sure you well know. The Chiefs traded their cornerback to the Rams. They traded an all-pro cornerback to the Rams at the end of the season. And hey, that happened. Trent McDuffie went there, and they, I guess, decided that they're not waiting around. They're not going to sit. They're going to take the first cornerback off of the board. They moved up to get him. So they must have had some fear that he would not make it to 9. They moved up, and they absolutely got their guy. So let's see if he can fill the enormous shoes of Trent McDuffie, who was traded to the Rams earlier this offseason. Matter of fact, back in early March. So we'll see. All right, so the Commanders' pick is in, and the Saints are on the clock. The Commanders' pick is in, and the Saints are on the clock. So here we go. By the way, that trade, the Chiefs, they went ahead and they traded. Wow, they gave a lot. They gave the 9th overall, the 74th overall, and the 148th overall pick to the Browns to move up 3 spots. That was a lot. That's a lot. 3 picks to move up 3 spots. Yeah. So why not? So they gave away their first round 9, they gave away their 3rd round pick, and they gave away their 5th round pick to the Browns for pick 6. So the Browns, I think the Browns came out really well. I don't think that the Browns are hurting, in making that trade. It seems like a good trade for them. Pop in the comments. Tell me what you think about that trade. Do you think it was a good decision? You're giving up a lot You're giving up a first, a third, and a fifth to move up 3 spots. So let me know. Pop that in the comments. Let's talk about it. All right, we're back. So just to recap again, Fernando Mendoza went #1 overall. Quarterback out of Indiana, national champion, led his team with 41 touchdowns, lit it up. He also can run. The boy can run. He's going to be a challenge. Big kid, big quarterback. He's going to be a challenge. They also have Kirk Cousins. He's going to learn under a veteran who knows how to win. The Jets pick a David Bailey after the Raiders picked Fernando Mendoza. David Bailey is an edge out of Texas Tech. The Cardinals picked Jeremiah Love. He is a running back out of Notre Dame, junior running back out of Notre Dame. Then 2 Ohio State kids go next. Wide receiver Carnell Tate, who's a junior, and edge Arvell Reese, mispronounced that. Arvell Reese out of Ohio State go to the Titans, Carnell Tate, and then Arvell Reese goes to the Giants. The Kansas City Chiefs trade up from 9 to 6, giving away a third and a fifth to move those 3 spots up to go ahead and take Mansour Delane, a cornerback out of LSU, a senior cornerback out of LSU. As you may know, Kansas City did trade away Trent McDuffie, their Pro Bowl cornerback, for they got a host of picks from the Rams. At #7, Sonny Styles, linebacker out of Ohio State. Again, Ohio State now with 3 of their players in the top 7, a wide receiver, an edge, and a linebacker, senior linebacker, Sonny Styles. I heard the Bears did have some thoughts about Sonny Styles, but he's gone off the board at #7 by Washington Reds. Well, they're not the Redskins, Washington Commanders. I'm a little old school with the white beard talking about the Redskins. All right. The Saints pick is in. We'll find out shortly what that pick is. And the Browns are back on the clock with what was previously the Kansas City Chiefs pick. So the Browns are on the clock. The Saints pick is in. We're just waiting to find out. And as we round out, we're getting near the end of the top 10 of this draft. The Giants will be back on the board. So they'll be the only team with 2 players they get to choose in the top 10. And of course, the Jets pick at 16. So they'll be the only team with 2 players in the top 20, obviously, aside from the Giants, who have 2 in the top 10. So here we go. We're waiting to find out who the Saints grab. That pick is in. And we do know that the Browns are on the clock with the pick that formerly, a few minutes ago, belonged to the Kansas City Chiefs. Yep, we're live. It's the NFL. And let's see what's going on. This will determine part of our future. Now, as far as the NFC North is concerned, looking down, the first NFC North pick will go to the Lions at 17. Isn't that crazy? Because the Lions fell throughout that season. The second pick will go to the Vikings at 18. The Packers are not going to pick in the first round because, of course, they traded to the Cowboys their pick 4, which would have been number 20. They traded that for Micah Parsons last year at the beginning of the season. So they will not be choosing in the first round unless, of course, they make a trade, which I doubt it. I doubt it. You know, I don't think Micah Parsons was a bad choice for them, but it didn't pan out because we won the division and he ended up on injured reserve. Sorry for that. And you don't want anybody to get hurt, but it definitely did not hurt the Bears that they spent $50 million on an edge who ended up not being able to play out the season. We whipped them. We whipped them 3 out of 4 uh, in uh, uh, in the past 2 years. I'm sorry, in 2 out of 3 this year, 3 out of 5 in the past 2 years, and loving it, loving it. Micah Parsons or not, we punched them in the nose and took that. So now let's see. Still waiting on the Saints pick, and the Browns are on the clock. So the Browns are making a decision. Who knows? They may trade back again if they find a trade partner. I hope it's not us. I don't want to jump up to number 9. I want to sit and I want us to take our time. I think we have a good team, and well, unless we jump up to 9 to get a defensive tackle, then we'd have the first guy off the board, kind of like what Kansas City did with the cornerback. Um, so, yep. And the Saints needed a cornerback. I don't know if they'll go for the cornerback, but they may have had their eyes on Mansour Delane. That may be why the Chiefs spent a fifth and a third to move up 3 spots to jump in front of the Saints. So we don't know. We'll know momentarily who the Saints picked and that their pick is in. Yep. All right, let's do one more recap. Raiders, Fernando Mendoza, quarterback. Jets, David Bailey, edge. Cardinals, Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame. Titans, Cardinal Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State. New York Giants, Arvell Reese, edge out of Ohio State. Kansas City with the trade from the Browns to go from 9 to 6, giving the Browns a 3 and a 5 to do that. Pick Mansour Delane, cornerback out of LSU. And the Redskins with the 7th pick. I called them the Redskins again. I can't help it. I see that W and I think it's the Washington Redskins. The Washington Commanders pick Sonny Styles, linebacker out of Ohio State. So again, in the top 7, Ohio State has 3 of the top 7 picks. You'd think they won the national championship. You'd think that they beat Indiana. Neither of those things happened. They did not beat Indiana. They did not win the national championship. But for some reason, their players, they've got 3-1 in the top 10 right now versus Indiana. I don't think it was all Fernando Mendoza. He couldn't have done it by himself. But this is the way the GMs are choosing. They're picking these guys out of Ohio State. And hey, they're leaving those Indiana boys who clearly were best in the nation for maybe the Bears picking at 25. Let's hope. All right, so we have the answer. The Saints picked wide receiver Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. Saints picked wide receiver Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. This young man is a redshirt junior, so he's been in college football for 4 years, and they chose him. So right now we have the Browns pick is in, and the Giants are back on the clock for their second pick. So the Giants picked Arvell Reese, number 5, and now they are back on the clock for their second pick. Let's see what happens. All right, Browns are still on the. I'm sorry, the Giants are still on the clock. The Browns pick is in. What's really interesting is we haven't seen, even though Miami Hurricanes were the runner-up in the college football championship, we haven't seen a single Miami Hurricane come off the board yet. Um, so Indiana defeated Miami in the championship. Obviously, Indiana defeated Oregon in the semifinal. Miami defeated Ole Miss in the other semifinal. Indiana defeated Bama in the quarterfinal. Ole Miss defeated Georgia in the quarterfinal. Miami defeated Ohio State in the quarterfinal. And Oregon defeated Texas Tech. So oddly enough, Ohio State was vanquished by Miami, but Ohio State has had 3 players go to the draft in the top 7, and Miami none. So interesting. When you look at who are the best teams in football, who beat who won, and who lost. Texas Tech was blanked by Oregon, and right now both Miami and Oregon are being blanked in the draft. So that's the way it goes. Waiting for the Browns reveal. And here we have the Giants on the clock. All right, as we wait for the Browns reveal, the Giants are on the clock, and let's see what's up next. After the Giants, we got the Dolphins, the Cowboys, the Rams, the Ravens, the Bucks, and then the Jets are back in there. The Giants obviously have had a lot of turnover and a lot of changes, coaching across the board. There's just been a lot going on there. And for losing and trading, they get 2 picks in the top 10. So they might win the offseason because they lost out in the regular season. All right, the Browns have chosen Spencer Fano, offensive tackle out of Utah. So at number 9, they got to pick the first offensive tackle. Um, yep, they got to they got to pick the first offensive tackle off of the board. As a matter of fact, they picked the first offensive lineman off the board, and Spencer Fano, offensive tackle out of Utah. He's a junior, and hey, they got to trade back, pick up a bunch of picks, and still get the first offensive tackle. Well, they need it because when we played them and our defensive front four is not the greatest, we really gave Shador a very difficult time. They needed to make that move and get a tackle and support that. So that's where they are now. That's what happened. And the Dolphins are now on the clock. And the Giants also have picked an offensive tackle, Francis Maligoa. Francis Maligoa, offensive tackle out of Miami. So for the runner-up in the national championship, Miami Hurricanes, this is the first player being chosen, and he is an offensive tackle and chosen by the Giants. So the Giants got a defensive edge and an offensive tackle. Seems like smart moves. You build the trenches, as Ryan Poles said, build the trenches, and they definitely can improve as a team. I think that's some wise moves by the Giants. Not afraid of them, but wise moves nonetheless. Also, wise moves by the Browns, trading back, getting more picks, and being able to choose the first offensive tackle off the board. Again, kind of what I'm hoping we do, trade back, get some extra picks, and still get the first center off the board. Dolphins are on the clock. We don't know what they were doing yet, but the Giants' second pick came across pretty quick. So they obviously knew what they were doing and how that was going to work out. So far, we're starting to get some tough guys in there after we have an absolute ton of skill positions. Quarterback, Fernando Mendoza goes first. Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame, goes third to the Cardinals. Carnell Tate, wide receiver, goes to the Titans. Mansour Delane, cornerback, goes to the Chiefs. Jordan Tyson, wide receiver from Arizona State, goes to the Saints. Then we get a couple offensive linemen. So got a mix. Honestly, no one has taken anything that the Bears are in need of. Honestly, except for edge. Obviously, we're in need of edge. But aside from that, we knew at 25, you're not going to get one of the top edges in the draft. You're going to be picking maybe the 5th or 6th edge off the board if you wanted to go with an edge. Aside from that, we're good at the other positions that got drafted today. We've got our quarterback. We have our running backs. We've got our wide receivers. We've got our cornerbacks. We've got our linebackers. And we've got our tackles. Now, we do know that Ozzie Trapillo is injured, and he will not be starting the season. Absolutely love Ozzie. Played fantastic, second-round pick. And from last year and just looked great out there. Won the job. When he gets back, hopefully he'll be 100%. When your knee gets hurt bad, you don't know if you're going to be 100% when you come back. So we'll find out. We won't find out until late the season, maybe the end of the season, rather, what Ozzie's got. And honestly, if the offensive line is serviceable this year, then it doesn't make sense to rush Ozzie back. We actually kept Braxton Jones. We picked up a offensive tackle, and of course we had our favorite Canadian tackle. So we're stocked at tackle. I'm not afraid for our future there. I do want us to pick up a center. The pick is in from the Cowboys. Obviously, they've traded away the second best edge in the NFL to the Packers. They've made a lot of trades and gone back and forth. And I honestly don't know what the Cowboys are going to do. The Cowboys, they even when they have a great roster, they turn out to be mediocre. So don't know where they are. Don't know how that's going to be. The Dolphins are on the clock. The Cowboys pick is in, and we'll see what happens. Now, one thing that I did notice, you think about AFC versus NFC, the Raiders, AFC, the Jets, AFC, the Cardinals, NFC. So it starts to get mixed, but at the bottom, it's more AFC than NFC, and I think that bodes well. At the top of the draft, which is the last, the last team standing, there you have a host of NFC teams. Now, obviously, got to have some AFC teams in there because they had to come to the Super Bowl and the playoffs to lose to us. Not us per se, but lose to the NFC. So the pick is in for the Cowboys. The Dolphins are on the clock. After that, we're going to have the Rams, the Ravens, the Buccaneers, the Jets, the Lions, the Vikings will be in the NFC North finally. The Panthers, the Cowboys, the Steelers, Chargers, Eagles, Browns again. So the Browns are going to pick a second time. And then our Chicago Bears picking at number 25. Our Chicago Bears are picking at number 25. So the Browns get 2 picks inside the top 25. At 9, they pick the first offensive tackle off the board. And at 24, they get to pick someone. Now, I would be a little afraid that maybe they take the first center off the board at 24. So we might see a little bouncing around with the Bears because the Browns definitely can use some offensive. Their offensive line was terrible. And, if they have some wisdom, if they feel like last year by picking 2 quarterbacks in the draft, starting both of them and getting a look at them, that they need to solidify their line on the offense to make this thing work. I would be concerned that these Browns take another offensive lineman and solidify the offensive line. Their defense played well, so you got Myles Garrett, the best defender and the best edge in the NFL. So I would be afraid that the Browns may grab a center at number 24 because, they need a lot. They've got a lot of positions of need, but you don't know what they're going to do. All right. So the Rams are now on the clock. The pick is in for the Dolphins. The Cowboys have chose Caleb Downs out of Ohio State. The Cowboys chose Caleb Downs out of Ohio State. He is a safety. So the first safety off the board has gone at number 11. Caleb Downs, safety out of Ohio State. That is the first probable position that hurts as a Chicago Bears fan because we definitely only have one starting safety. We literally had all 4 of our safeties leave the building based on contract. We went ahead and we brought in Super Bowl winning safety from Seattle, but we had all four of our safeties leave the building. We brought back one safety of our own that we previously had, but our starting guys, they're gone. And so there was a lot of transition in the Bears safety room or the Bears defensive back room. So, it's, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So we brought in Kobe Bryant from Seattle, who was a phenomenal player. And we had some serious need because Byard is gone, Brisker is gone, both of our starters from last year, and you'd think that there would be a rookie that we were going to fill in there, and we probably still will pick a rookie, but right now that's the first safety went off the board, and we are a long way from our pick. So right now we're dependent on Cam Lewis and Elijah Hicks and Javarius Owens, which, you know what? That's probably not the safety room I want to patch with Kobe Bryant. So tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. All right, let's take a look. So just to recap, Fernando Mendoza, of course, went number one overall to the Raiders, quarterback out of Indiana, national champion, undefeated, Big Ten champion. David Bailey out of Texas Tech. Texas Tech was battling in that college football playoffs, couldn't make it all the way through. David Bailey's an edge out of Texas Tech. He went to the Jets, number two. Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame, definitely a great runner. Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame, goes to the Cardinals. Carnell Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State. That Ohio State team went pretty deep in the playoffs, but they couldn't beat Miami. They couldn't beat Indiana. Nonetheless, they're winning when it comes to the NFL draft because there's three of their guys are in the top 10. Carnell Tate, wide receiver, went to the Titans. After that, Arvell Reese, edge from Ohio State, went to the Giants. So two Ohio State kids back to back at 4 and 5. Kansas City traded up from 9, gave away a 3 and a 5 to go from 9 to 6 to get Mansour Delane, cornerback out of LSU. Washington Commanders took Sonny Styles, linebacker out of Ohio State. That rounds out Ohio State's 3 players that got drafted in the top 7. Wide receiver out of Arizona, Jordan Tyson. He goes to the Saints. The Saints trying to retool at wide receiver, which makes sense. So that's the second wide receiver off the board. Spencer Fano, first offensive lineman off the board. Spencer Fano, offensive tackle from Utah. He goes to the Browns, and the Bears face the Browns. We know they need some help on the offensive line because we were able to eat their lunch. Francis Malagoa, offensive tackle out of Miami. That's the first first player from the runner-up team for the national championship. Francis Malagoa is an offensive tackle out of Miami going to the Giants. That would be the Giants' second pick. They got an edge from Ohio State, and they got a tackle from Miami. So they took 2 players out of the college football playoffs. Caleb Downs, a safety out of Ohio State. That's 4 Ohio State players in the top 7. You'd think Ohio State won the whole thing. They did not. Indiana looks like it's getting snubbed. But Caleb Downs, Ohio State safety, went to the Cowboys. And then the Dolphins have chosen Caden Proctor, an offensive tackle out of Alabama. So 3 offensive tackles go 9, 10, and 12, almost back to back. Just the 1 pick by Dallas for a safety, but 3 offensive tackles go back to back. Spencer Fano, Francis Malagoa, and Caden Proctor. Boom. The offensive tackles are disappearing. The Rams pick is in, and the Ravens are on the clock. Amazing that the Ravens are just now picking because they had a very tough season, but they did make a run at the playoffs. But they had a tough season, but they're just starting to pick. We're just getting to pick number 14. So the Rams pick is in at 13, and we are working our way to 14. So we're an hour into the draft, and after an hour into the draft, the first 13 picks are in. We only know the names of the first 12. We don't know the Rams. But an hour into the draft, 12 uh, young men have been chosen, and their lives have just changed because they will be fully guaranteed 4-year contracts with a 1-year option. Um, Amazing. Their family's life and their lives just changed forever. Hopefully for the better. Got to manage that money and not let the money manage you, and not let the fame take you over. So hopefully all of those families will be changed for the better. Rams are the pick is in for the Rams. We don't know yet. The Ravens are on the clock. The Ravens may grab that first center. They lost their Pro Bowl center, uh, Tyler Linderbaum, in free agency. So they might be the team that snatches uh, my idea and takes that first center, although that's really early for that position. So let's hope they don't do it. They have a lot of needs. They did not make the playoffs, although they have an awful lot of talent on their team. It's just not working out that they ended up in the playoffs. All right, we're still waiting on the Ravens, who are on the clock, and we're waiting for the reveal for the Rams, whose pick is in. We just need the reveal. Okay, we're 11 picks away from the Bears' first pick outside of the top 10 in a long time. It's a beautiful problem to have. If you're picking in the top 10, you either made an incredible trade and someone made a mistake, or your team stinks. So it's wonderful to be out of the toilet and into the grouping of teams that not only went to the playoffs, but won a playoff game, made it to the divisional round before we could not overcome those Rams. Although right now the Rams get to pick ahead of us because of trades. So this, of course, is the pick that they traded last year. And it worked out. It worked out for them. They traded with the Falcons. And right now they're going to use the Falcons pick. We're not sure quite yet what they picked it. And there they go. The Rams pick a quarterback, Ty Simpson out of Alabama. That's not a surprise at all with Matthew Stafford. Maybe playing his absolute final season, maybe not. They pick a quarterback, which is absolutely smart. You have a high pick, only one quarterback can come off of the board. You're at 13. You get to grab the second quarterback off the board when you're at 13. That is a steal. That is a steal. That is absolutely beautiful play that they made. And that's the pick from the Falcons. They beat us in the playoffs. So they were actually part of the final four of the NFL, right? And we weren't. But they get to pick at 13. And at 13, they pick somebody who maybe can replace Matt Stafford and continue to keep that team relevant. Matt Stafford coming off of an MVP level season, just phenomenal play. We except for against the Bears in the playoffs. That game, we kept Stafford and his arm out of the end zone. No touchdowns, and we sacked him 4 times, made him fumble. We hurt him, picked him. We did it to him, and that's just incredible. Go Bears! Ty Simpson, quarterback out of Alabama, definitely someone from that national championship attempted run. Someone from the college football playoffs again. 2 Alabama guys back to back. The offensive tackle and the quarterback go back to back. Ravens pick is in. Buccaneers are on the clock. 10 more picks from now, we get to see what the Bears do. Go Bears. Bear down. All right, let's just do a quick review. If you just joined us, Fernando Mendoza went number 1 overall, quarterback out of Indiana, national champion, undefeated this year, or last year, last season undefeated, Big Ten champion. Ohio State couldn't beat him. Nobody could. Miami couldn't beat him. Nobody could. Second to the Jets went David Bailey, edge. Third to the Cardinals, Jeremiah Love, that incredible running back out of Notre Dame. Fourth, wide receiver Carnell Tate out of Ohio State. And Ohio State cleaned up, even though they didn't win the national championship, even though they weren't even in the semifinal. that they have 4 picks in the top 11, I believe it was. Cardinal Tate, wide receiver to the Titans at number 4. Arvell Reese, edge out of Ohio State to the Giants at number 5. Them coming back, Kansas City traded up from 9 to 6, giving away a 3 and a 5 to move from 9 to 6 with the Browns. Kansas City selected Mansour Delane, cornerback out of LSU. Washington Commanders selected Sonny Styles, linebacker out of Ohio State. Again, Ohio State just filling up the draft, the top end of the draft, even though they didn't win. Jordan Tyson, wide receiver out of Arizona State, goes to the Saints. And then the Browns, although they traded back, picked up 2 extra picks in the 3rd and 5th round, still got to take the first offensive tackle off the board of Spencer Fano out of Utah. Gets the first one out of the board. After that, Miami finally gets in at number 10. Miami being the runner-up in the national championship. They just finally get in at number 10, going to the New York Giants, Francis Malagoa, offensive tackle out of Miami. And then you look in Caleb Downs, safety out of Ohio State, goes at number 11 to the Cowboys. So there we have it. Caden Proctor, offensive tackle out of Alabama, goes to the Dolphins. So you had 3 offensive tackles go 9, 10, and 12. Spencer Fano from Utah, Francis Malagoa from Miami, and Caden Proctor from Bama all go 9, 10, and 12. Next, you got Ty Simpson, quarterback for the Rams. Got to start building the future. Let this guy learn under Stafford and see how he does it. Maybe they keep going. Then you got, a guard. Yes, the Ravens choose a guard and not a center. Thank goodness. I am so happy. The Ravens choose a guard, and I'm going to have a hard time pronouncing his name. Olavavega Iani. Olavavega Iani, excuse me if I destroyed this young man's name. He's a guard out of Penn State. Big kid, 6'4", 320. A big kid, tough kid. The Buccaneers pick is in, but we don't know what it is. And the Jets are back on the clock for their first pick. If you remember earlier, they picked 6'3.5", 250-pound David Bailey from Texas Tech. Big edge with that gets a lot done. And now they're picking again. So there we have it. So we still have not seen a center come off the board. We did get 1 safety come off the board. Those are positions of need for the Bears. We did see a cornerback come off the board. Again, position of need for the Bears. We've had several edges. 1 edge, actually just 1 edge so far come off the board. So actually, I thought the edges were going to disappear. That was my assumption, and it actually hasn't proved to happen. So where we're only 9 picks away from the Bears choosing, the edges have not have fallen aside from Arvell Reese of Ohio State, which that is perfect. I'm sorry, Arvell Reese and David Bailey of Texas Tech. They both they're both there. So 2 edges came off. Now Arvell Reese is only 240 and 6'4", so he's lighter weight. I don't know that fits our system. So I think we need a heavier edge, 250 or more. We have Booker, a light, fast edge who's actually working out like crazy, trying to put on weight. He's down in Florida working out and with some huge men, guys that look like they're bigger than his football teammates. So let's take a look at it and see what happens. But I like Booker a lot. I think if we do draft an edge at that 25, we're going to get somebody that probably is a little bit more like Sweat than like Booker, a little bit more beef, a little bit more physical. We'll see. We'll see. So right now we're waiting to find out who the Buccaneers pick. They already chose, and the Jets are on the clock, and we're going to find out what they do with their pick. But the Ravens didn't hurt us. They took a guard and not a center. So I'm quite happy about that. All right. Welcome to the show. Welcome to We're Talking Bears. We're sitting here going through the draft. It's draft night. Raiders picked Fernando Mendoza overall, quarterback out of Indiana. Had a perfect season, won the Big Ten, beat Ohio State, won the national championship, beating Miami. This kid's thrown 41 touchdowns. He's got it. Pocket passer, he gets it done, but he also can run. He's 6'4" and a half, 236 pounds. He's a load. After that, the Jets picked 250-pound edge from Texas Tech, David Bailey. Then the Cardinals picked a running back, 212-pound, 6-foot running back out of Notre Dame, Jeremiah Love. This kid was phenomenal through his college career. The Titans picked Carnell Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State, 6'2", 290 pounds, a big athletic wide receiver. And then again, another Ohio State player goes to the New York Giants, first pick, 6'4", 240-pound edge. So very lean, quick edge out of Ohio State. The Kansas City Chiefs traded up with the Browns, so they went from 9 to 6 to take Mansour Delane, cornerback out of LSU, 6 foot, 187-pound cornerback. So they, of course, traded away their Pro Bowl cornerback, and they needed a replacement, so they went for that. The Washington Commanders take 6'5", 245-pound Sonny Styles, linebacker out of, again, Ohio State. Jordan Tyson, wide receiver out of Arizona State, goes to the Saints, a 6'2", 203-pound wide receiver. Spencer Fano, the first tackle off the board, who was traded, that pick, the 9th pick, was traded from the Chiefs to the Browns. Take a 6'5", 311-pound tackle out of Utah. Next, the Giants at pick 10, their second pick of the night, pick a 329, 6'5" tackle, Francis Malagoa, out of Miami. The Cowboys pick 5'11" and a half, 206-pound safety Caleb Downs out of Ohio State. 4 Ohio State guys go. The Dolphins pick offensive tackle Caden Proctor out of Alabama, 6'6", 350-pound, enormous offensive tackle, 6'6" and a half, 350. So they wanted some beef and some mass there. The Rams decide that they are going to pick their quarterback of the future, 6'1", 211-pound Ty Simpson, kind of small, but Stafford's not that big, so he'll learn under Stafford and Alabama's quarterback is going to be a Ram. Okay, I'm going to kill this kid's name. He's a guard out of Penn State, went to the Ravens. Ola Vavega. I, Iani. Ola Vavega Iani. I'm sorry if I ruined your name. Guard out of Penn State, 6'4", 320-pound guard out of Penn State, went to the Ravens. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who were have their pick is in. Now, this is kind of the edge that we probably want. 6'2", 263-pound edge out of Miami, who was the runner-up. Miami players are starting to show up now. Who was the runner-up? Ruben Bain. So 6'2", 263-pound Ruben Bain Jr. Now, for all of you Batman fans, I would love to be able to say Bane is coming. Bane is coming. That would be awesome, but we're not going to root for the Buccaneers. The Jets, their pick is in, and the Lions are on the clock. Finally, we are more than halfway through the first round, and the first NFC North team shows up because the NFC North was a tough division. And who won it? Bears won it. Who won it? Bears won it. NFC North. All right, so the Jets pick is in. The Lions are on the clock, and we're going to find out how our competition looks in a moment. So the Lions are on the clock. After the Lions, it's the Vikings. This is the NFC North. You guys should know that the Cowboys have Green Bay's pick from number 20. So we will not be seeing the Packers get a first round pick. That's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. All right. The Jets have chosen Kenyon Sadiq, a tight end out of Oregon. So finally, Oregon, who actually made it to the college football playoffs, gets in the mix. He's a 6'3", 240-pound tight end, so more of a big receiver than a tight end. Kind of, if you compare him to our tight ends, Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet, he's a few inches shorter and a few pounds lighter. Our guys run more like 6'6", 6'5", 250. That makes a difference. It makes a difference in the run game. It also makes a difference when you catch the ball downfield and you're 50 pounds heavier than the guys who are trying to tackle you. And we've seen that. We've seen Loveland run through guys, win the Bengals game for us. We've seen Komet run through guys and win. So, I'm sure they have a plan, but at 6'3", 240, that's probably about he's probably about done. That's probably about everything. I like our tight ends way better than the Jets tight end, but it's not our problem. It's not our problem. They're in the AFC and they're the Jets. So hanging out at the bottom of the AFC, this kid would have to be ridiculous. He's super athletic, but he would have to have ridiculous production to justify getting a smaller tight end, both shorter and lighter than what we're used to seeing. I am happy with Loveland and Komet. You know, we've got it. We've got it rolling. So the Lions pick is in, and the Vikings are now on the clock. And now we're going to find out what's happening in the NFC North. Let's keep it rocking. Lions pick is in. Vikings are on the clock, and we will know momentarily what's going on in our division. Who the Lions picked up. Remember, they traded away David Montgomery. The Lions were busy this offseason. So yeah, let's see what they do. Yeah, and so so yep, they traded David Montgomery away. They added Zadarius Smith, so they've been busy this offseason. And they've got some things going on. So we're going to find out. The Lions at 17. Picks in. We don't know who it is yet. Vikings at 18. On the clock. The pick has not been made. So we'll flow through the picks while we wait on the Lions. Fernando Mendoza picked number 1 overall, quarterback out of Indiana. David Bailey, number 2, edge, goes to the Jets. Jeremiah Love, running back from Notre Dame, goes to the Cardinals at 3. Cardinal Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State, goes to the Titans, number 4. Arvell Reese, edge out of Ohio State, goes to the Jets, goes to the Giants, number 5. The Kansas City Chiefs trade up 3 spots with the Browns, taking the Browns' number 6 pick and getting Mansour Delane, cornerback out of LSU. The Washington Commanders at 7 pick Sonny Styles out of Ohio State, linebacker. At number 8, the Saints pick Jordan Tyson, wide receiver out of Arizona State. At number 9, the pick that they received from Kansas City, along with a 3rd and a 5th, they picked Spencer Fano, the first offensive tackle off the board in the draft at 9. At 10, the Giants pick up their second player, Francis Malagoa out of Miami, the national champion runner-up for the Giants. He's an offensive tackle. Number 11, Caleb Downs, safety out of Ohio State, 4th Ohio State player picked up by the Cowboys there in the top 11. Caden Proctor, offensive tackle out of Alabama, huge boy, goes to Miami, to the Dolphins. Ty Simpson, quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide, goes to the Rams to probably be the future replacement for Matt Stafford. Olavavega Ione, which I probably ruined his name, I apologize again, is a guard out of Penn State. He goes to the Ravens. Ruben Bain, love that name. Ruben Bain is an edge out of Miami. He goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Kenyon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon, goes to the Jets at number 16. The Lions pick is in. We don't have an answer yet, and the Vikings are on the clock. And we are just a handful of picks away from our Chicago Bears at 25, a little more than a handful. 18's on the clock. 17, the pick is in, but we don't have it yet. So we're really 8 announcements away, 7 picks away. And we do have announcement. Offensive tackle Blake Miller out of Clemson is who the Lions are going with at number 17. So he is an offensive tackle out of Clemson, 317 pounds, 6'6", so he's kind of light and for an offensive tackle at that height. He is the 4th offensive tackle off the board. The Vikings are picking. The Vikings pick is in. We don't know yet what they've done. The Panthers are on the clock. We will find out what they do. The Panthers made a run at the playoffs. They're finally recovering after trading their entire team and their first round pick and a bunch of second round picks to the Bears. Go Bears, go Ryan Pace. And they're finally recovering. So as they recover, they finally get to pick a little later in the draft, picking at 19. Good for them. There we go. And the Vikings are up. And then the Cowboys get to pick again. The Cowboys, of course, have the second pick from the trade with the Packers. So the Packers number 20 pick belongs to the Cowboys. So I'm not saying the Packers can't improve, but the Packers have given away picks and people to get to where they are. Maybe they're equal, maybe they're not. We'll see. And we'll find out what the Vikings do. I don't think that what happened with the Lions is a bad thing. They picked an offensive tackle. The Vikings pick is in. Caleb Banks, defensive tackle out of Florida. Caleb Banks, defensive tackle out of Florida. He is with the Vikings. So the first defensive tackle off the board goes to the Vikings. So we're at a position where only one defensive tackle and no centers have come off the board. Only one safety has come off the board so far. And we've got a half dozen teams to choose before it's the Bears' turn. So I'm feeling good about our positions of need. I wouldn't stretch after a offensive tackle already. Several offensive tackles have come off the board, and maybe one more happens. I wouldn't chase an OT with our first round pick. DT, why not? Why not a defensive tackle? The only one has been chosen. Safety, only one has been chosen. That's kind of a high pick. First round safety is a high pick, but only one has been chosen. Wouldn't be upset at that. If you find the right guy. Cornerback, only one has been chosen. That wouldn't be a bad pick. But safety, I think, is a much greater position of need. Lots of edges. I wouldn't stretch for an edge. Center. The Bears need a center. They need competition at the position. We have a starter for this year, but he came from the Patriots, who had the worst offensive line in the playoffs. And that's not the way to build. Hopefully he was great as compared to his peers, but I would feel much more comfortable if at 25 we pick the first center off the board, or maybe traded back a little bit and got a center and some other players. Panthers are on the clock. We have an offensive lineman to the Lions and a defensive tackle to the Vikings to deal with in our division. The tackle out of Florida, he's a 6'6", 327-pound monster, who is clearly just a man among boys in college football. So let's see how that pans out. And the tackle that Blake Miller, the tackle that the Lions picked, is 317 pounds, 6'6". Both of them very tall men. One really thick, the other kind of thick, right? There's no thin tackles. Eagles are on the clock. Panthers pick is in. We don't know what's going on, but we are now 5 picks away from the Chicago Bears' first pick of the 2026 draft. Also, this is the first time we've been picking in the playoff group of the drafts for I can't remember how long. It's been far too long. It definitely isn't the 2000s. Maybe 2020 we had a playoff picks, but it's just not good to be that far out of winning. And finally, we're back and we're a winning team. And the benefit of that is we get to pick late in the draft. So the show goes on and on and on. Yeah. So yeah. So when you look at the Bears, first round draft picks, Colston Loveland last year, Rome and Caleb the year before that, Darnell Wright. We didn't have a pick in 2022 because we traded it to the Giants. We didn't. We got Justin Fields at 11. We didn't have a pick in 20 or 19 because we traded both of those to the Raiders for Khalil Mack. You remember that. And in 2018, we had Roquan Smith. So we honestly have not. In 2017, I said 16. In 2017, we had Mitch Trubisky. 2016, we had Leonard Floyd. 2015, we had Kevin White. It was 2013, the last time we were picking from a playoff level position, and we took Kyle Long at tackle. So it's been more than a decade, more than a dozen years since we've actually made a pick, as the Bears, outside of those, really tough losing spots where we've been in the top 11 since 2015 as far as picking when we actually got to use our picks. So the Carolina Panthers have picked an offensive tackle out of Georgia, 6'7.5". This guy's a giant, 315 pounds, which honestly, I feel like that's kind of light for 6'7.5", 315. If I'm a tackle 6'4", I want you to be, at least 315. 6'7.5" and 315. Really, really tall, but it should be very athletic, but just not a lot of size for a tackle. Obviously, aside from that, he's a huge man, right? 6'7.5", 315 pounds. Can't play basketball at that size and weight. Just a huge guy. So that's what the Panthers are going to go with, and they needed it. Bryce Young still doesn't have the line he needs. And thank you, Panthers, for DJ Moore, Darnell Wright, and everything we've got. We've even got a second-round pick this year because of DJ Moore. Thank you, Panthers. You guys are the pick that keeps on giving to the Bears organization. Okay, the Eagles pick is in, and the Steelers are on the clock. So we're getting close. We are 4 picks away from the Bears trading or picking. You never know. There could be a trade already in the works. Usually the trades show up when you're on the clock because, stuff is happening. So the wide receiver from USC Makai Lemon, wide receiver from USC. Makai Lemon goes at number 20 to the Eagles. Wide receiver, he is a 5'11", 192-pound wide receiver. Um, Not the most athletic guy for his size, but his production was very good. And the Eagles tend to get that right, so I'm not going to doubt it. Steelers are on the clock, and we'll see what's next. Steelers are on the clock at 21. Then the Chargers, Cowboys, the Browns pick again, and then the Bears. We finally get our pick. So let's see what's going on, folks. It's 9 p.m. here in Chicago. 9 p.m. here in Chicago. The Steelers are on the clock. That means it's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock out there where they're making these decisions. So it's 9 p.m. here in Chicago, 10 o'clock out there. Honestly, let's hope the pace picks up a little bit. It's dragging just a little bit. 2 hours um, for 20 picks. So 10 picks an hour. Hopefully, it's not a full hour to finish out. We're going to hang with you until the Bears pick, talk about it a little bit, and then move forward. Now, if the Bears trade back out of the round, we're probably done for the night. If the Bears trade back into the round, we will hang with you. So we don't know what's going to happen yet. We're 4 picks out. The Steelers are number 21, Chargers, Cowboys, Browns, and then our Bears. Thank you for connecting with We're Talking Bears. Like and subscribe. We're Talking Bears. All right, the Steelers still on the clock. Not sure what's happening here. Not sure if they're trying to make a trade or just trying to decide. I can't think that they were true. Oh, the Steelers have made their choice. Steelers pick is in. Looks like the Steelers are holding. We've really only had one draft night trade. That was the Chiefs and the Browns. Chargers are on the clock. Cowboys and the Browns are next before our beloved Bears. All right, so the Steelers pick is in, but we don't know what it is yet. Chargers are on the clock. Steelers pick is in. Chargers are on the clock. Steelers pick in. Chargers are on the clock. Kind of taking their time now. Back to taking their time. It's their right to take their time. I'm waiting like you guys. I want to know, what are the Bears doing? I guarantee you the Bears are cooking right now. They are looking at every option, the options for trade, the options to stay where they are. They're looking at every options. Are Chicago Bears. Okay, so the Steelers have chosen an offensive tackle. Wow. Arizona State. Max. Wow, this is a hard name to pronounce too. Hemiquire. Ehimiquire. Max Ehiniquire. Wow, this is tough. Sorry for tearing up that name. Max, offensive tackle out of Ohio State. I'm going to try one more time. Ahin Ahinacore. All right, that's my best shot at this kid's name. It's 321 pound, 6'5" offensive tackle out of Arizona State, going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So there we go. We've got another tackle off the board. This draft is tackle crazy. The number of tackles here: one, two, uh, three, four, five offensive tackles gone in the first 21 picks. That's good news for us, Bears, because we're probably not choosing an offensive tackle. We really don't have a need at that. We have our swing tackle. We hopefully will be returning our starting left tackle. We definitely have our starting right tackle of the future. And we have, Braxton serviceable while you're out. And hey, we even got some fill-in insurance. But it's good for us when 5 out of the first 21 players go and they are offensive tackles. That is good for us because that's not a need we have. A lot of good amount of wide receivers and tight ends, not needs we have. It's beautiful to see those spots going. It's almost like uh, um, we picked a lot earlier. The Cowboys are on the clock at 23. Chargers pick is in. Still don't know what they have, but I can tell you the Chargers need offensive line, edge, defensive line, cornerback, wide receiver. So it's very possible that this draft continues to work in our favor, and people keep taking positions we're just not going to draft in the first round. We're not going to draft tight end in the first round. We're not going to. We got Loveland and Komet. We're not going to draft a receiver. We've got Burden. We've got Rome. And in the first round. We're not going to draft a running back. One guy may be a seventh round running back, but boy, that boy can run. We got Swift. Um, we rebuilt the offensive line. I'd take a center. That's a position where we lost our Pro Bowl center to retirement. I'd take a defensive tackle. Um, the edges are probably thinning out. They're thinning out. I don't know if I'd stretch for an edge. Safety, only one off the board. I'd take a safety in a heartbeat if the right guy is there that can match the Dennis Allen theme, Dennis Allen theme. So, I think that this was working out really well for us to be 21 spots in and have, just a truckload of offensive tackles come off the board, five, um, and to have, multiple receivers, tight end come off the board. This is perfect for the Bears. Um, and right now the Chargers are on, and the Cowboys are on. Oddly enough, only two quarterbacks went. So we had Fernando Mendoza, and then Bama's quarterback. Boy, I forgot his name that fast. Ty Simpson. So a little light on quarterbacks. If you're a team looking for a quarterback, you're coming at the back of the first round, and only two have come off. Either every general manager just doesn't trust these quarterbacks in this draft, or there's some pickings right on this table that are going to be available. Cowboys are on the clock. Again, guess what? Miami, runner up, gets another player. Edge, 259 pounds, 6'3". Akeem Wazador. Akeem, I guess that's how you pronounce it, Mezzador. Off of the edge for Miami, goes to the Chargers. This is actually, look, let's face it, we weren't going to get a top edge at 25. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. We don't need to take another top offensive tackle. We need to see if Ozzie heals. So I'm okay with that. You got almost half of the draft is just edge and tackle. This is beautiful because that means all the other positions are available to us, where most of them only one guy has come off the board. Which is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Puts us in a great position to, even though we're at the back of the draft, to get the second guy off the board, let's say as a safety. You can get, if I don't know if you do it, but you can get the second guy off the board as a cornerback. You can get the first guy off the board as a center. You can get the second guy off the board as a defensive tackle. This is a beautiful, beautiful position to be in. Right now, at one of our positions of need where we need to grow, you are either the second guy off the board or the first guy off the board. And that's phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal. I'm loving it. Cowboys are on the clock, then the Browns, then we're talking Bears. So I'm ready. I'm loving it. Can't wait. Got to see what happens. Let's clap it up, get it going. All right. Just like Rome fell to us 2 years ago, you shouldn't have been there. Shouldn't have been there. Big mistake. Rome fell to us. And we are going to be in a good position. I'm loving what's happening right now. Yeah. So, All right. Cowboys still on the clock, haven't made their decision as well. Picks in. Pick is in. We don't know what it is. Browns are now on the clock, and that means the Bears are next. So here we sit. As we know, before the Browns, the Chargers took edge Akeem Mesidor out of Miami. Before that, the Steelers took offensive tackle Max Hinacor out of Arizona State. And before that, the Eagles took Makai Lemon, wide receiver out of USC. And the Panthers took Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle out of Georgia. And the Vikings took Caleb Banks, defensive tackle out of Florida. The Lions took Blake Miller, offensive tackle out of Clemson. So, again, as we've discussed, we're in a great position. Many positions of need for the Bears have only had one player come off of the board and absolutely no centers left. We only have to get past the Browns' second pick and the Cowboys. Now, the Browns are dangerous because they could pick another offensive lineman. They are on the clock. And I really honestly wouldn't give up a heap to move up. I wouldn't give up anything to move up at this point. We're good. We're solid. The Cowboys pick is in. There's nothing you can do about that. The Browns are going to pick, they might pick offensive linemen. So the Cowboys pick edge. Oh my gosh. Out of the University of Central Florida, Malachi Lawrence. Heard a lot about this kid, strong kid, Malachi Lawrence, University of Central Florida. But think about that. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4 edge go so far. It's five edge go. And we've had, as far as offensive tackle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 offensive tackles go. 6 offensive tackles and 5 edge. So out of the first half of this draft, half of the draft is offensive tackles and edge. That is gorgeous for us. That's beautiful. I don't think we're going to chase an edge. It makes no sense to get the 7th edge off the board in by using a first round pick. We don't need a tackle. We are loaded at tackle. So I think we go for safety, center, cornerback. I think safety or center or top, cornerback. We get the first center off the board. We get the second safety or second cornerback off the board. I think that puts us in a phenomenal position, depending on what, of course, the Browns are doing right now as we discuss this. The Browns pick is in, and the Bears are on the clock. Go Bears, go Bears, go Bears. Bears, number one in the NFC North. Bears beat the Packers in the playoffs. Bears almost beat the Rams in the playoffs. We are on the clock. Here it is, folks. This is what we've been waiting for since we lost to the Rams. We wanted to know what's next. And the draft is here. We went through free agency. We did a good job in free agency. We picked up a lot of quality, tough defenders. Maybe we get a safety that rounds out that defense. That would be a beautiful thing. Maybe we get a center. It's kind of what I want to do. I want competition at the center. But I guess the safety, when I think about it, is more important. If we get a first round, top quality safety, second safety off the board to fit in with Bush, who's come over at linebacker from Cleveland, just lightning fast, faster than Roquan Smith, according to the 40, and Kobe Bryant, who's out there at safety, just a dynamic young safety. Got 7 picks in the last 2 years. A lot of forced fumbles. I believe he's somewhere around 7 forced fumbles and fumble recovery combinations. So it's just a good safety. He played cornerback, so he can cover. He played cornerback for 2 years in the NFL and then switched to safety and played there for 2 years. So great kid. And if we actually pick a safety here, we're going to know in a few minutes what we do. And let's find out. Bear down. Bear down. Browns pick is in. Bears are on the clock. Still don't know exactly what the Browns did, but we do know pretty much everybody either grabbed the edge or offensive tackle. So I don't know what the Browns already had grabbed an offensive tackle. So maybe they got a guard or a center to go with that. Maybe they bought a wide receiver. Not a bad decision. There's a lot they could have done. And they'd be silly if they went and used that second pick on edge because 5 edges have come off the board already. So I wouldn't do it, you know. I do like the kid out of UCF, so I do like Dallas's pick. And they absolutely have to replace that pressure at the edge. So, but we'll see. Here we go. We are on the clock. Ryan Poles and company, Ben Johnson and company are making the decision. Yeah. So here we go. Team that's lost most of its safety room probably takes a safety first round. But we also lost our Pro Bowl center, so could do that. Let's see. Bears are on the clock. Browns pick is in. The Browns took a wide receiver. KC Concepcion. KC Concepcion, wide receiver out of Texas. This kid is 5'11 and a half, 196 pounds. Just, regular average size wide receiver. We'll find out. That's what the Browns do, pairing him up with your guy, Shador. And he gave him an offensive tackle and a wide receiver. Not a dumb move, not stupid at all. That seems like the Browns are making at least some reasonable decisions. They made some foolish ones in the past, so they got to clean it up. But this time, they go in with 2 first-round picks. So all the teams with 2 first-round picks have chosen. The Jets grabbed David Bailey, edge out of Notre Dame, and as their second pick, grabbed Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon. The Giants grabbed Arvell Reese, edge out of Ohio State, with their second pick. Francis Malagoa, offensive tackle out of Miami. And now the Browns, with their first pick, took the first offensive tackle off the board, Spencer Fano, out of Utah. And with their second pick, take what I believe is the second wide receiver off the board, KC Concepcion, out of Texas A&M. So, yeah. So Bears are on the clock. Still don't haven't put the pick in yet. So, and the Bears just put the pick in. We don't know yet, but the Bears pick is in. The Bills are now on the clock. The Bears pick is in. And this is what we've been waiting for all night. Bears pick is in. And we don't have the answer yet, but the Bears pick is in, and we're waiting on the answer. What did we do? All the speculation is over. The Bears did choose at 25, at 125. All speculation is over. The Bears made their pick, and now we will find out what that choice was. I'm waiting with bated breath. Bears pick is in. Everything, the cards lined up for us. Still, if we picked a safety, he's the second safety off the board. If we picked a cornerback, second cornerback off the board. If we picked a if we picked a oh, there was a trade. Oh, look at that. So the Texans apparently have just made a trade for the next pick. Okay, the Houston Texans are holding at 26. Okay, the Houston Texans did make a trade. Then the Texans made a trade, looks like with the Bills. The Texans are on the clock. The Bears pick is in. So it looks like Bills and the Texans made the second trade of the night. I'm just verifying that for you folks. Yep. The Texans traded up 2 spots. I don't know yet what they gave up to get there, but the Texans definitely traded up 2 spots. And our dear Bears, we don't know what our Bears have yet. So let's find out. And the Bears, the pick is in, but we don't know what it is. And the Texans have traded up from 28 to 26. And the Bills have traded with them. So don't know what happened. There we go. Safety. Our Bears have chosen a safety out of Oregon, Dylan Thieneman, if I'm pronouncing that right. Dylan Thieneman, a 6 foot, 201 pound safety, athletic safety, was a 3 year starter. He definitely, this is definitely a good deal, a big deal. He's versatile. He's definitely going to start for us, I would assume. Um, he can play a big nickel or robber position. I am excited about this. That's what I thought we were going to do. We get the second safety off the board. Um, this is a good deal for our pick. I'm excited. He is fast. He runs a 4.35 40. He has a lightning bolt, a 1.52 split. He's got a 41-inch vertical. The kid can jump. He's got a 10-foot broad jump. This kid is fast, athletic. At 200 pounds and 6 foot, he can move around the field. We are keeping the same concept: fast, athletic players out there who can get the job done. I am super excited. If I can only pronounce his name correctly, Dylan Thieneman. That's what I believe his name is pronounced. Safety. And I am super excited. Safety out of Oregon. Go Bears. That's what we've been waiting for. Go Bears. Bear down. We got a safety in the first round that rounds out that defense. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'll see you guys. We'll see you guys after the second and third rounds. Loving it. Excited. Man, I can't be more pumped. This is great news. This is fantastic news. Yeah, what are you gonna do? You're gonna be excited. You're gonna be excited. Um, it's exciting, guys. Dylan Thieneman, safety out of Oregon. The Bears pick at 125. Hey, I'm Uncle, and thanks for joining in on the live stream. We're talking Bears. Be back at you with more information this weekend.